huge air of anticipation around the place now. Lovely, kind of a low-key build-up, contrast to what's going on in Kilkenny. Like, there's a huge razzmatazz.
I'd be confident enough this time around. Last year I was very, very worried because I think there were horrendous pressure on Kilkenny to win the 4 in a row and beat Tipperary in the process. This year they seem far more relaxed about what they're doing. The hurling not better than they were last year. So only for the injury to Henry and John Tennyson I'd be very confident, but that probably puts it back a bit, so that makes it a far closer game than I would have anticipated if they were fully fit.
One of the big things that I see is that to try and stop Kilkenny from getting goals. And they have that tendency and that trade in them that they like going for goals, and they tend to kill off a lot of opposition with goals. I think one of the important things is that if they do concede goals, to not to let it rattle them that much. Kilkenny have built up a massive aura about them over the last number of years, as champions do, and unfortunately, a lot of people, a lot of teams have, and a lot of players have a lot of doubts in their head before they go out in the field at all. And you'd have to say as well, maybe a lot of teams are beaten before they go onto the field at all when they're playing against Kilkenny at the moment. And I think the important thing for them is that if they do concede early goals or do come under pressure, that they don't get too rattled by it.
That's where the key is. If we can break through their half back line into the likes of Owen Kelly and Lara Corbett, Noel McGrath. And again, we were looking for big performance from midfield. I actually think that our midfield this year is probably stronger than it was last year. And I think Brendan Maher in particular is playing some super stuff this year, The Shefflin thing is just a sideshow, really. Look, I'm around long enough to know what's going on. Shefflin, to me, it's he was injured, probably not as bad as people say he is. I'm not even going to go there. As far as I'm concerned, Shefflin, the whole Shefflin thing has taken the heat off of the Kilkenny team and the attention off the other players, and Cody's quite happy about that. And let's face it, we didn't have the look in last year's All-Ireland. We needed to put a few chances away. I believe we'll win it. I believe we won't win it comfortably. It's going to be down to the last, couple of minutes, just as it was in last year's final. But if we're there, if we can go toe-to-toe with them, and if we come into the last 10 minutes, I think the memory of the defeat of last year should be enough to carry our boys home.
Tipperary have the ability to score long-range points, and that's the secret to beating any team, and especially beating Kilkenny, where you can get your points in the middle of the park, as they did last year. They pulled the full forward line out. They play this type of forward play where they can pop up anywhere, and the good thing about Tipperary is when they get a chance, they generally take it, and their accuracy from general play will definitely keep the game close.
Yeah, well, if you were forced to put your head in the block, like you said, you'd have to go with Kilkenny, but I think it'll be much closer than most people think.
I'd have no idea how the score thing is going to work out. It's be impossible to predict, but I do think Tipp will win. I think we're in very good form. I think we've a super bunch of players that have tremendous belief in themselves. They've shown that they can drag themselves up from very difficult situations like the Cork game earlier in the year, and they showed a lot of character to win against Galway. So, I think because of the character they have and because of the hunger that they will have, I think Tipp will win it.
I was very worried last year, very worried, and I would in the back of my mind, I would have fancied Tipperary last year. For some unknown reason, I'm more confident this year than last year. I think the drive for 5 could well become the KK for a Shea.